This storm will kill you.
Look! I'm telling you! You know what I mean,
But if
folks?
rich people aren't looking out for us, who is?
It makes no difference which one of us you vote for. Either way, your planet is doomed.
You're listening to the Our Take Podcast with Brian Sherman.
He had a full head, all the way till the end. It was white, and I was hoping to get that. I was hoping to get, like, the full head, and it was really hard to cut it off.
And Spencer Rogers.
To be a good pilot, you have to be able to make good decisions. And I know what my credit score is, so I know I don't make good decisions.
This is the Our Take Podcast.
From Scary Parrot Media Studios in Ogden, Utah, it's the Our Take Podcast, episode 108. I'm Brian.
I am Spencer.
It's March 15th, 2021. On this day in history, the world's first internet domain name is registered.
Alta Vista? Pornhub?
Do you know what year? On this day in history.
I don't know, like 83 or something?
85.
Yeah.
Symbolics.com was registered by the Symbolics Computer Corporation of Massachusetts. There are over 1 billion domains today.
1 billion?
Yeah.
But not all of them are .com. That's just here. How come we got .com and everyone else had like .au and .eu?
I think it's we should be .usa.
Right?
Probably, I don't know.
.us?
Is it because we made
That
it?
is a
Did we
thing.
make it?
Al Gore made it. Everybody knows that.
Right. That's true.
That's a well-known fact. That Albert Gore is the inventor of the internet, which I actually have no idea where that comes from.
He said it at a debate, something weird, like, I don't know, it's like his idea or something, I don't know.
That was his argument for...
Yeah. Some Russian history on this day in history.
What, are we communists now?
Yeah, in 1990, Mikhail Gorbachev, I don't know, becomes president of the Soviet Union. And on this day in history, in 1917, the last emperor of Russia abdicates.
Wait,
Tsar Nicholas II.
You said 1990.
I know.
I thought the Soviet Union was done by then.
He was, yes. It's at the same time. So his economic and political reforms, as well as his advocacy of free speech, strengthened pro-democracy movements in other Eastern European countries, and ultimately led to the fall of the Berlin Wall, and the end of the Cold War.
Right.
Yeah, so it was, yes, you're right.
Okay.
But yeah, 1917, Tsar Nicholas II abdicated following a revolution. He was later executed together with his family and some of his servants.
Pharaoh style.
What's that guy's name? Gaddafi style, man.
Ooh, that's the best. That's how I want to go.
It's terrible. It's terrible.
Nobody ever Google that.
Spencer and I have both been half vaccinated.
Half-sinated.
So we're safe.
Yeah, we should have, after a week or 2 weeks, we have, I think, 60%?
I don't know how it works.
I think. And then after the next one, it goes up to that 80 and 90.
Right.
You know what I'm going to do?
What are you going to do?
Book
a flight?
I'm going to travel after April 2nd.
Yeah.
20 days later, I'm planning on going somewhere.
Because you're safe.
Yeah. And
some places still won't let us in, right?
Yeah, but I'm going to go to Florida, so.
Where the cases are skyrocketing right now.
Yeah.
Did you see that article?
Well, I thought they just did an article or a study that said that California and Florida were basically the same, despite their difference in lockdown protocol.
No, I saw something that was like South Florida spiking, and they shrug or something like that.
I don't know.
Because they haven't like spring break and stuff like that.
Oh. Well, let me tell you what I'm going to do, though.
Okay.
I'm going to go to Orlando, all right, on the 22nd or 1st or something. And I went to NASA's website, and there is a SpaceX launch on the 22nd of April.
I'm coming then.
All right.
I'm coming.
Let's go.
Like, I got to...
Right?
Yeah. Like, I have to go. So that means I have to buy back into the program that I got stiffed on.
It's true.
I
was a little disappointed that all these airlines didn't offer some sort of compensation for me included from last year.
I had to pay $200 to be your beneficiary.
Yeah.
To take advantage of your free flights. And they didn't give me my $200 back after the pandemic hit.
It might be cheaper just to fly.
Well, but we're going to go other places, right?
Well, it just depends how this year shapes out. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
I wouldn't.
That's true.
I don't know.
We
It's amazing how last year just kept devolving. I mean,
we've said it before. If we've learned anything, it can always get worse.
And we celebrated the anniversary, the 11th of March, when Rudy Gobert single-handedly brought down the U.S. economy.
Don't be Rudy Day.
And
yeah,
and I thought I was kind of like the only one that, but it was like a national.
Oh, no, yeah.
It was like on all the radio stations and TV stations, and that was like the day the pandemic started,
right.
according to us, for us to remember. And it's what I remember most is I know a couple days earlier we did an episode. Maybe we will pull it up at some point. But
I honestly thought I almost pulled it up yesterday.
We might have done it that night. I can't remember. I just remember texting you, and I know that I had. The episode before had said something to the extent of, "Oh, this is overblown, blah blah blah." Like everyone was. Even our doctor friend Ethan was like, "Yeah,
right."
And he wasn't the only doctor.
No.
It was kind of like a thing. And then the NBA, the game got canceled. It was on the news, and then it was insane. It was that night. Things just kept crashing. The NBA postpones their season. MLS, blah blah blah. March Madness is canceled. One thing
cascaded.
After another,
right.
Stay-at-home orders, work, and it was like, and then I remember thinking, late March, early April, we'll be good by June, we'll be good by July.
Man, I know.
And every month it was like, it's soon, any month now.
It's got to start going down sometime.
And here we are.
Right.
I will say though, it does feel like we're getting there. We're on the home stretch of
when Biden announced his $100 million in 100 days, I said on the show, I was like,
you did.
That's audacious, and they're getting it done.
To his credit,
or
whomever's credit, did you know we have 1 million people vaccinated in Utah?
Yeah.
That's what like percent of our population?
Well, probably more than a third.
And
I think we're a little under 3 million.
We need to be at like 60% or something for herd immunity.
Yeah. So 1 million have gotten at least one shot.
I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. It might have been. That might be
both.
But yeah, like fully vaccinated. I'm not sure. I'd have to look at the numbers on there. But that is way better than I think anyone anticipated. Even the governor is kind of like
his
good job.
Biden's speech was like May 1st. He keeps moving it back 30 days every time he says something about it. So
moving it back or forward?
Back. Sorry. Back towards us.
Oh, well, because his last speech was he wants it available for everyone in May.
Right, by May 1st.
Which
before it was.
It kind of seems like
May.
that's going to happen.
I think it's going to. Well, I think it's going to be available.
Right.
I don't know how many people are still not taking it, not getting it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It seems like in this state, at least, the
rhetoric is calmed.
Well, I don't know. Like my sister still is like afraid to get it.
Yeah.
But my mom has it. My dad's going to get it.
You have it, and
I have it.
Nothing weird has
Can
happened.
I tell you? So I hate getting shots, a lot.
I know you were here.
Oh yeah,
and I could sense your fear as you were leaving.
I have not gotten a shot in I can't remember how long.
Yeah.
I don't ever get a flu shot because I don't like shots.
Yeah.
They hurt and I hate them. So I went to get my vaccine and I was nervous, and the first thing I told the doctor, or the pharmacist is, this is gonna suck. And he's like, no, it should be fine. I'm like, no, dude, I hate shots. This is gonna suck. And then I feel just like someone pinched me with like a tweezers or something, and then I saw him fiddling around, and I'm like, okay, here comes the real shot. That was just the pre-shot,
right?
And then he puts a Band-Aid on. I'm like, is that really
That's
it?
it.
Oh.
So maybe you'll start getting flu shots now.
Well, yeah, probably. He's like, needles have advanced in technology, and they don't. That's what he said. He said
They've gotten sharper.
He said they're thinner now, and you don't
it
feel
does.
it.
I mean, there is a viscosity to some vaccines, right? Like some
That's
are
true.
genuinely thicker
Yeah.
than others.
So I was relieved, and I had no symptoms the next day, and then I just had the arm.
Yeah, it feels like you got punched.
Is the CDC sending you texts every day?
No.
Did you sign up for that? You're supposed to sign up for the CDC symptom.
They have my
post.
number.
Well, it's like a survey you fill out
Oh, I don't know.
for every day. That's, are you dying? Do you have symptoms? Are you experiencing anything?
Did they make you sit there for 15 minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, like halfway through, I was like, no one's keeping me here.
It was.
And then I stayed anyways because I'm kind of a wuss.
Yeah. So I went to the D Event Center, which is Weber State's basketball arena.
Right.
And they were just doing it around the concourse,
Uh-huh.
right? Like station 1 was sign your waiver. Next station was double check your waiver and get shot. Third station was go and wait,
Right.
And as I was waiting there, I was listening to Dragon Force,
Okay.
which isn't like it's not relevant. I was just telling you. But I started looking around. I'm like, this is kind of a surreal moment.
Right?
Like I kind of want to document this, for Quinn,
I have
my other kid.
I have documented me waiting in line to get tested. I documented waiting in line to get into Walmart.
Yeah.
Just various things like that.
We're all standing and sitting 6 feet apart. There's a cop.
Oh,
There's
really?
signs posted everywhere.
We should
There's
get
X's on the
more-
floor where
Right.
just space. I'm like, man, we need to.
We should have gotten more. I mean, there's going to be plenty out there. But,
I at post 9/11.
Uh-huh.
Remember the flags were everywhere
Oh, gosh, yeah.
and the yellow ribbons.
Uh-huh.
I actually went around. I was 17.
Uh-huh.
I went around with my mom. She was a photographer at the time,
Uh-huh.
and we took as many pictures as
Oh,
we
really?
could of different, whether they were on a bumper or all the marquees. Anybody who had a marquee, put "United We Stand."
Right?
Right. I gotta find that. We were gonna make a collage of sorts because it was it was hundreds.
And then bring it up now. And we're like, hey, guys.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what I have from September 11th is because I worked at the grocery store, and I had to go to work that day, and everyone was buying water. It was crazy. It was like panic, like,
right.
the last.
We're at war.
Yeah.
Right.
And I got something that the Dallas Morning News, the newspaper, hadn't done in.
Oh, because you were in Texas at the time.
Yeah, they hadn't done in like 50 years. They did a extra.
They were out there like a city caller.
No, but they dropped it off, and
You have a copy?
I do.
Oh man.
It was it's pretty crazy. I gotta. My mom has it somewhere. I gotta find it somewhere. But it's great. It's a good,
extra.
Yeah.
It would have been great if there was a hailer.
I know. I'm sure there was somewhere.
Yeah, right.
Right?
Yeah. That's crazy, man.
Yeah, I'll send you a picture of what it looks like. There it is. Day of Terror. Crazy, man.
It was a scary day.
Yeah, this whole pandemic thing, that March 11th gave me the same sort of vibe.
Yeah.
So did the Capitol thing. You know what I was doing the other day? I was talking to my mom, and I was reading back everything that happened last year, and I was like, holy crap.
It really was.
I mean,
intense.
The season premiere of last year was Kobe dying.
Yeah.
And then the pandemic started, and then we had Australia had wildfires.
Right.
And then they had record rain, which brought mudslides. I was there for the record rain.
Yeah.
Which
Because it's like the only day it rained.
yeah.
Right.
And then we had the earthquake here.
Oh yeah.
Fires in California, a record hurricane season, most named storms ever. We had all of the COVID panic and an election and the riots, the Black Lives Matter protests and riots, and then we had, I'd like to think that the January 6th Capitol siege was the season finale of 2020, even though it happened in 2021.
Right.
I think that was the way to end 2020.
I mean, even though, yeah, I see what you're saying. Even though it was in 2021.
Right.
Yeah, it wasn't a good way to start the year.
No.
But here's, I'm going to put up a picture of
Did you
your,
find it? Oh, yeah.
yeah, Day of Terror.
It's only selling for $11.75. It's not bad. I'd buy it.
Dallas Morning News. What's this one, though?
I'm guessing it's...
Oh, $9.12.
Oh, yeah.
$90.
That's weird.
I think the extra
the
is
extra
cooler.
should be that. There was very, very limited supply of them. In fact,
Yeah.
most of us at the store were the only people that got them.
I can't remember if I talked about this on the last show. I tried to get a copy of the New York Times with the dots last week.
Oh, really?
Or 2 weeks ago. Did you see that cover?
No.
It was like a histogram.
Uh-huh.
Is that the right word? Where of a timeline of going down the page, each dot is a death, and so it's like it's bolder, and then tapers off, and then the holidays hit, and it's like black, So, but it was like the most interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That is it. Oh, excuse me. That is interesting.
Yeah. So I tried to find a
that's
copy
so-
of it, and I couldn't
So
find one.
weird. Last year was just crazy, man. The 11th, at the time there was only a couple cases, and then and then we kind of stayed the same throughout most of the year until the end of the year hit, and then that's when we got real bad.
Yeah. Oh man, I don't know. I feel like it didn't. I feel, when tragedies happen, like 9/11,
Right.
it usually gives us perspective,
Mhm.
right? Or like when the Apollo 8 astronauts took that picture of the moon,
Mm-hmm.
or I'm sorry, of the Earth,
Mm-hmm.
when they came back around, the Earthrise.
Right.
It gave people some pause and some perspective. This pandemic has been so drawn out that I don't think it's given us any perspective. It's made us realize how social we are as creatures.
Right.
But the way people have reacted, I feel like it, like, you know what I mean? You know what I'm trying to say?
I mean, maybe we
didn't come together at all. Like, at all.
Well, I mean, yes and no. I mean, I think if you'd ask nurses and such that they might beg to differ, but
Yeah.
I mean, the reason we didn't come together is because we couldn't. I mean,
That's
I
true.
think that's the difference. I mean,
That's true.
everything stopped. That didn't happen with 9/11. Everything kept going, and
I just feel like usually with a disaster, there's some sort of silver lining in something we learned, or
it's because this is a divisive disaster,
Yeah.
unfortunately, because of who we had in office and various other reasons. There are plenty of 9/11 conspiracies, which are stupid and have been debunked, but
right.
but at the time, it was pretty obvious what had happened, and there
Right.
was no questioning.
Right. Yeah.
Is this real?
It's
Is
true.
this
That's true. Good point.
like
We didn't have any leaders saying.
there wasn't a possibility of you catching 9/11.
Well, and no one was saying it was a hoax that day, especially no one of note.
No, not that day. I mean, it
Like
happened later.
The
but
president wasn't like, this was an
can you
inside
imagine?
job.
Can you freaking imagine if Trump would have been president then? Oh my gosh.
I don't know. I mean, George W. kind of fucked it up. Like, I don't know if it could have gotten worse.
What do you mean, like war-wise?
Yeah.
Or, well, yeah, but not the initial response.
No, I mean, I don't know, dude. That whole thing's crazy. Like, I remember thinking when we invaded Afghanistan, I remember thinking, this is really soon. This is rash.
Oh well, yeah. That. But
You know what I mean?
I'm talking about the initial speaking to the American people.
yeah,
and,
no,
and
he did
being
great there.
there and all that sort of
The
stuff.
megaphone thing.
The going to war part.
I just remember.
I can get past Afghanistan, but
sure, because
not currently being there. not
20
everything
20
that
years.
not the invasion maybe.
Yeah.
But Iraq's the one that's kind of like.
And I think this is top of mind. I was at the mall the other day, and a Dutch artist created World Trade Plaza out of like clay. So there's a model at the mall of the World Trade
Oh really?
Plaza, and I was like, why is this here? It's 20th anniversary this year.
Oh boy.
So
I feel like we just had the 10th.
I know, it's
really?
super fast.
That's. Do you think the world's spinning faster? Is time going faster?
We're going around the sun faster. But I think, you're right. He did do a good job that night, the following days in terms of bringing the country together. But I do, even as a 17-year-old, I remember thinking, like, please don't go to war, like, right away. I know Americans want blood. They want.
I don't know how. I don't know. I think that any president would have.
I know.
I can't think.
They don't have a choice.
I can't think of anyone over the last few years that wouldn't have done
well,
something like that.
And I don't blame him.
Yeah,
because if you don't do anything, then Bin Laden's like, all right, let's do it again.
yeah.
You know, so I get it. Like,
What I don't understand about Bin Laden is, did they think there wasn't? I mean, if he was so pro, if these terrorists are so pro-Muslim and everything, the amount of people that have died, Muslims that have died from these wars, is 10 times
Yeah.
more than it's
millions.
Yeah,
It's millions.
than the 2,000 or 3,000 that
Right.
died.
No,
on
a million
9/11.
Iraqis have died.
So I don't
that
know.
That doesn't count Afghanistan. Probably a million Afghans as well.
I mean, did he know that was? I just, was he trying to get that to happen?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I would-
Weird, right?
If they could have taken him alive,
Yeah.
maybe we would have known.
Are we going down a 9/11 rabbit hole?
But no, it's a good point. Like, what did you think was going to happen? Maybe he thought that there wasn't enough intelligence to point back to him.
But they claimed it.
I don't think he did. I don't. That was
Al-Qaeda did.
That's more of an ISIS thing to start taking responsibility for things.
No.
Let's look.
Al Qaeda totally took responsibility for it.
Let's look.
I don't know how to spell I don't even know what I just spelled here. Al Qaeda.
Al Cloaca.
I can't tell you. Takes responsibility for. I'm so glad that Google's going to.
Okay, here's an article from here. Let me just throw this up on the screen so you can see it. Here's an article from October 29th, 2004. Al-Qaeda leader Osama bin Laden appeared in a new message aired on Arabic TV station Friday night for the first time, claiming direct responsibility. So 3 years. That's more of an ISIS thing to be like, yeah, that was
I
us.
swear that Al Qaeda claimed within days,
I don't think so. I mean,
but I don't know. Anyway, speaking of Al Qaeda, I need to tell you what my shirt of the day is so I can take off my hoodie.
okay.
As you may or may not know, everyone that's listening, all three of you, Brian Stubbs, maybe Jake Vockler, maybe ISIS, we're number 1 in Syria.
Need a lot of plays. A lot of plays out of Syria and Mosul.
Random towns and caves. But anyway, you're going to like this shirt.
Okay.
You're going to like it.
Did you order me one?
No, you can order your own. You have access to my thing.
I know, but if you think that it's something I'm going to like, just
to look like I made it out of. No, I'm just joking.
I'll pay you back.
All right,
I
all
always
right,
do.
all right. Here's the big reveal.
Okay. Oh, wow.
Yeah, I redid the market
I
shirt.
do like that.
There it is. Had to redo the whole thing.
Did you really?
Yeah.
You want to know the best part about that design?
Yeah, you
I stole
jacked it from somebody.
Yeah.
There's a lot of similar things online, but
There was a website, and I don't know if it's still around, called Design Spin.
Design Spin.
And it was much like Shutterstock.
Right.
You would buy, you could plug in your band name or whatever and see it on all these different logos or all these different designs.
Right.
So I just took a screen grab and blew it up because I didn't want to pay for the
Unbelievable.
So
well,
yeah.
I remade it in its own right, and now
yeah,
now we can.
I see
do
you
whatever.
didn't do the broken font.
No, I couldn't find it, so I just put a different one in there.
I like it. The Market was a pop punk alternative band that Spencer and I were in.
Oh yeah, we were in it.
Yeah,
we had that was fun. We had a lot of fun shows.
we should put some Market songs back up.
Yeah, we're gonna remember. We keep getting pushed to play them in the band too.
Yeah.
I don't know. So speaking of the band, no,
Yeah.
I don't know. A couple Saturdays ago, I think it was. I asked if we were going to record an episode, and I was about to text you when my slot to order at McDonald's came up. So I was in line for McDonald's breakfast,
Okay.
and
Like drive-through line?
Yeah.
Okay.
obviously.
Well, I'm surprised you even drove there.
Yeah, me too. I don't. I must have been. It must have been right before payday or something. I started texting you, but then I backed out, and then I must have pressed that text to or speech to text button.
Oh,
on the text messages.
Okay.
And I want to read you what it picked up me saying to the McDonald's
while you were ordering.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is blonde. I can get 2 sausage biscuits with cheese, yeah, and a large Diet Coke or Psycho, and that's all I know. Thanks. Okay. So just be sure I have a rustic-looking stuff. It's.
Just be sure that should be the next one. I have a rustic-looking stuff. It's.
Yeah. So, I mean, it got the sausage biscuits and with cheese and a large Diet Coke, which I'm sure I ordered. So, I mean, I have no idea where the rest of it came from, though.
You know, speech to text.
Yeah.
If you are going to use speech to text on an iPhone
Right.
and send it to another iPhone, just send an audio message.
Yeah, I forget that's an option.
You know what I mean? Just send that. Don't.
Right.
I know it's convenient, but it's, just push the other button.
Yeah, I had a client that always does. He always picks up his phone and does speech to text. I'm like, just come on.
Oh, so he's doing it and it doesn't put any punctuation or anything. Yeah. Yeah, just talk to me.
It's a freaking disaster.
Yeah.
One other thing here, before we end the episode. So I was perusing Facebook, which I guess I'm like the only person that does now. And
it has gone downhill, hasn't it?
I don't know. A lot of people say they don't use it anymore. I'm like, oh, I don't.
I think it's. I don't think this new generation Z or whatever they are.
Yeah.
I don't think they're using it at all.
They're terrible. I hate this generation. They just want to cancel everything. But speaking of getting canceled, the Pleasant Grove Police Department. Maybe I should. I don't know if I can send this to you.
I can Google it real quick while you're talking. Go ahead.
Well, they served a search warrant at a home, and the search warrant concluded a long investigation into the illegal sale of recreational marijuana. And they seized 2 pounds of raw marijuana, 300 THC vape cartridges, liquid THC, edible marijuana, mushrooms. So they have 3 cops here. Yeah, there it is. Standing in front of all this stuff.
Here it is. Okay.
Now, usually in the past, because these cops are all smiling, they're all looking like proud. People are gonna be proud of us. They're gonna like us, and there are so many negative comments. It is unreal. I can't find a good one.
What? Like just talking smack?
Well, one of my friends, first of all, is the reason I think this came up because he posted, "Take down pedophiles or rapists and murderers. Real crime is when harm has occurred. Why can't we refocus the police and stop fines and keep us safe from civil assets and blah, 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 blah."
Yeah, all right. Like,
this is important and necessary. If it weren't for heroes like you, somebody might smoke weed and binge Bridgerton over the weekend. Thanks for keeping Utah safe. Just think how much money could have gone to our children's schools from the 20% recreational tax the state could be charging for the products that truly benefit so many people. There are 8,000 comments, and the majority of them are slamming this police department. I am surprised this post is still up, and they had to have been like, people aren't. They're not.
We're not getting.
Cool
maybe we forgot because we don't have a dog in there.
I know, right?
Yeah. Look,
I was worried someone might be enjoying themselves in Utah. Thanks for policing. Glad these heroes use Utah tax dollars to keep citizens safe from the munchies and Adventure Time run. It's crazy how many. Anyway, what?
Okay. I don't disagree with them because none of these were hard drugs.
They're all marijuana.
Yeah, I mean, well, psilocybin mushrooms, but
Whatever.
yeah, not what habit forming. Not really. But I don't like. Look, there is a very strong correlation between drug trafficking and violence. The answer, in my opinion, is to legalize it. Absolutely. That being said, just let them have their day, man. Like they're.
I mean, I just can't. I've never seen so many. This is like bragging about writing a speeding ticket. What a waste of tax dollars.
It's
hey,
really
can you
interesting.
guys maybe work on processing rape kits?
They make good points. They make excellent points.
Yeah, and then there's very few of the amount of disrespect people have towards law enforcement is so disheartening. And then right below, waste of time and resources, no victim, no crime.
Look. There is a huge mind shift, paradigm, zeitgeist, whatever.
Right.
In terms of how people, view the police. People no longer view the police as an authority. Right? It used to be that yes sir, no sir, I'll do whatever you want me to do.
Right.
Because you are a good guy.
Take my pants off.
There's a reason you're telling me to do this. Especially among whites.
Right.
And that's changed.
Yeah.
It's not just last summer. I think it's been over time. But it's not viewed as an authority anymore. It's viewed as, that's your job. I don't have to listen to you. That's your job. Give me the ticket and move on.
Right. Yeah, I guess so.
Like there's some really, sometimes I get stuck on YouTube or TikTok on the what are they called? The First Amendment watchdog people.
Oh man, yeah,
who just walk
too.
around with a camera.
Yeah, me too.
And then I come across one where like a guy's getting pulled over, and he's like, I don't answer questions, and the cop's like, is pushing him, and the guy's like, dude, just write me the fucking ticket and get your ass home. Like, just goes off on him. I'm like, wow, that's different,
Right. I mean, but you do have the right to do that, and
sure.
And I don't like.
I don't have to talk to you. I don't have to answer your questions. If I was doing something wrong, just give me the ticket and move on.
Right.
I don't need you guilting me. I don't need a guilt trip. I don't need to be shamed. Right.
Right. There's a lot of those videos, and I'm just like, ooh. You can tell the cop has no idea what they're talking about.
Well, and they get stuck.
Yeah.
And it's human nature to dig your heels in.
Right.
Right. I mean, you can't say that the guy with the camera's not
Well,
digging his heels in either.
that's why I wouldn't be a cop, though. I'd be
No.
like, okay, whatever. I don't
Right.
care.
But they're fun to watch. Sometimes people actually get arrested, and they post later like, I was in jail all night.
I kind of think it's weird that they posted this, because remember Riley, when he was on here, he said multiple times, marijuana, no big deal, whatever. It's like the police don't. A lot of them just don't really care.
I mean, we're talking about Pleasant Grove.
No, I know, and it was a huge bust
For Pleasant Grove, that's a big bust.
right?
So
But I would be more impressed if it was black tar heroin or
sure. This was like the main
crack cocaine or meth.
This was the main weed distributor of Pleasant Grove. Yeah. That's who this was.
This is everybody's friend, and all these people, all these 8,000 people are like, well, I guess I want to have to start smoking crack. That's why marijuana's the gateway drug. Because you get it taken away, and they're like, well, there's nothing to do now.
I love this. So the article starts with a lengthy investigation, right? And then 2 paragraphs down, police said they had received numerous complaints from residents in the area about constant traffic in and out of the home and the overwhelming smell of marijuana. That's not a lengthy investigation. That's a knock on the door. Hey, your neighbors are complaining. What's that, weed? Put your hands up, right? That's crazy.
I think the biggest problem with this was intent to sell. I honestly don't think cops, for the most part, now care if you're smoking weed on your property.
Right.
I can't imagine them busting in and arresting you, but it was the intent to sell. That was clearly the intent to sell on this.
It's that there's no tax.
Right.
There's no tax revenue for
this.
Well,
there is a way to fix that.
Yep. We're close. I think.
Hopefully.
If this pandemic ends soon, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
That might be one that comes up soon. I don't think it's on Biden's list right now because
he's got
because of the pandemic.
Make sure Air Force One's colors get changed back to Jackie O. So
right,
I mean.
first and foremost. As soon as we hit 66%, that better be the first thing that the Saki says.
Yeah,
whatever her name is.
Whatever her. Man, I just realized today that I don't know who any of the secretaries are. Like, I don't even know who Secretary of State is.
It's Blinken.
Yeah.
Blinken.
There's been no drama that I just have completely tuned out the majority of politics.
Jen Psaki is the press secretary.
Right.
And she gets all sorts of shit from Trump supporters on TikTok. It's hilarious.
Well,
because she's actually coherent and doesn't lie.
And doesn't look like a
But they comment stuff
Piggy.
like, I miss Kaylee.
She was pretty attractive, but she was the worst person I've ever seen.
Spicer.
I would take
Sanders.
I would take any of them over McEnany.
But that was the lesson. It can always get worse.
Yeah.
You know, we're like Sean Spicer. Oh man, he's got to go. It can't get worse than this. Sarah Huckabee Sanders.
Isn't she running for some office now?
I don't know.
She's so stupid.
Oh my gosh, there is a TikTok channel called The Good Liars.
Ooh.
And it's these two dudes who get in. Somehow they get high profile people on TikTok with them. You know, like they got Matt Gaetz.
Really?
And they just troll him. So they're like posing for a picture, and they'll say like, how did you become such a big troll? It's like you don't even care what you say. Like as they're taking the picture, you know? I watched one today. They delivered a plaque to the Secretary of State of Iowa that was like, you got a plaque for #1 voter suppression. And they delivered it to like his assistant. Anyway, they're pretty funny.
I gotta follow that.
Yeah.
Speaking of following things and space and all the things that we've talked about, on your recommendation, I started a new show. In fact, I caught up to it, and now I'm annoyed because they only release the episodes once a week.
Once a week, I know.
For All Mankind.
It's fantastic.
On Apple TV.
It's fantastic.
Let me give you a quick synopsis for those of you that haven't watched it. It's the basically the history. It's an alternate history of the U.S. and Russia, the space race, and it all is similar, or it all the same. It all stays the same until what happens that breaks it off.
So, well, the first big. Do we want to spoil the first episode? It's just the space race doesn't end. Yeah, it does not end. Yeah, and it goes differently.
Yeah, and it continues on, and what is to me what was fascinating about this alternate history is the kind of changes that happened in not necessarily the technology or anything, but the changes that happened in society that happened quicker because of this, like women's equality and racial equality, because the Russians, they sent a woman to the moon.
Right.
And that's what it was. That's what changed the narrative. Is Russia landed on the moon before we did.
That was just a spoiler of the first episode.
Yeah, but that's like
it does happen in like the first 5 minutes of the
that's,
first episode.
Yeah. But that's what changes the narrative of the history, and as a result, you get different presidents.
Yeah.
Like Ted.
Like Reagan. Ted Kennedy.
Ted Kennedy gets elected instead of murdered.
No, Ted Kennedy wasn't murdered. Bobby was murdered.
Wait, so
I thought Ted became president because he ran.
Bobby, it's the one that was supposed to have been killed.
Okay, so maybe he was president
because he was running against Nixon, right?
Yeah,
and he would have won.
Yeah,
it was pretty leaning in his direction. Then he got assassinated.
Right.
So yeah, he doesn't get assassinated. John Lennon doesn't get assassinated.
And they just throw those in.
The Pope does get assassinated.
Right. They just throw these little snippets in of history but they change them.
Yeah,
it's pretty interesting.
And I know the second season takes place. The first season takes place in the late '60s, early '70s. The next season starts in the '80s with the space shuttles and stuff.
Yeah.
And there is a snippet in there about Russia pulling out of Afghanistan. And I have a feeling when they do the third episode or fourth season, 9/11 won't happen.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
And it even makes mention of how the Russians are pouring their resources into the moon instead of Afghanistan. And so Afghanistan finds,
right.
It's crazy.
And did you notice how your dream of nuclear engines
Oh yeah.
is becoming a reality?
Yeah, that's they have a nuclear powered rocket, and then they're about to launch another one.
Yeah.
But it's just I don't know. I haven't watched a lot of alternate history shows, but it is very interesting to see.
I do have a legitimate fear
Huh?
that people are going to watch it and
it's
think
real.
that's what happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they'll get like 3 seasons in and be like, wait, that's not what's happening right now. Was this whole show a farce?
Of course, that's going to happen to somebody. I didn't know Russia landed on the moon before
Right,
we did.
right. Yeah.
We have a moon base.
It's a good show though.
No, it is, and it is very interesting that how many small things change the way the world goes, and it made me kind of reflect, and I've reflected on this before in my life, is how many small decisions have led me to this room here today. And it goes way back to when I was like 16 or 17, when I started dating this girl, and then decisions were made there and there and there, and then my best friend was like, let's move to Utah, and I was like, that's stupid, why would we do that? And then I did, and then she broke up with me, so I ended up staying here. I was only supposed to live here for 3 months.
Really?
Yeah. And 15 years later, and it's just crazy how these tiny decisions that you make influence where you are today. And it's the exact same with this TV show.
It really makes you not want to make any more decisions.
Right.
Because you don't know.
Because you know that the reason the Russians landed on the moon before the U.S. has got to be something like somebody decided to try one thing instead of another thing.
Right.
And that's what led off this chain of events to them being able to beat us. And then because of that, women's equality happens faster.
Right.
Technology happens faster. Although my one complaint about the show probably would be that I feel like technology should be more advanced by just a little bit in the 80s. Like it's still like everything, the space shuttle is a little more advanced and everything, but like our TVs are all ghetto still and everything. I'm like, I think that a space race like that would have.
It's hard to know. If we were, because we're essentially like still in the Cold War, right?
War always breeds the most technology. Which, when people talk about going back in time and killing Hitler, I'm like, yeah, but I don't know. You might not like what happened.
We probably wouldn't have jets. Yeah.
You get back and you're like, well, I gotta walk.
The thing is that you flew from America to Paris to use the time machine.
Yeah,
and then
because your time machine only travels through time, not space.
Right, and then you're in Paris when you get back, and you can't fly back.
Yeah,
you have to take a boat.
There's no jetliners.
Right. Everybody should watch it though.
Yeah, and it makes me want to watch that. There's another one that talks about. I can't remember what it's on. I think it's on Amazon. It's something Tower or something. No, it's about the Germans winning World War II.
Oh, what's it called?
Man in the High Tower?
Yeah, something like that.
I don't know, but it sounded interesting. I just never got into it.
Hey, did you get your stim?
I don't know.
Your stimulus?
I don't think so. Did you?
Not yet.
I normally get it like the second or third day. Nope, my bank account's still sad. Man, I've been digging Robinhood though. No, I mean I wish they were sponsoring us, but like I made $100 in like an hour the other day.
Can we talk about NFT? This art thing that's being sold crypto?
Yeah. I don't know what you're talking about, but yeah.
You're not following this art that's sold for like $69 million, but it's digital?
No.
Really? Okay. Let's just talk
Googling.
about. Let's just talk about this for a sec. I just want to move this over to the screen so people can see. This picture right here, it's digital only, sold for $69 million, and it is a piece of the blockchain, which has value somehow.
Wait, what?
So it's called an NFT. It's like non-fungible I'm serious. It's a weird word. Non-fungible token.
Oh,
But Elon Musk's wife did it first. She painted a picture
that weird one.
on like an iPad and sold it for like millions of dollars. Somebody did like music. You can do music that way. So you're the only owner of it. It can never be counterfeit because that's the whole point of blockchain is you can't counterfeit Bitcoin.
Hold on, let me get my screen capture.
I know. So this led me down a rabbit hole because I have not ever tried to understand cryptocurrency.
I know that I invested in Dogecoin just in case.
Right. But you're investing just in the future of it. You didn't actually like buy
No, I'm hoping that it gets up to the $61,000 a share
Right.
that Bitcoin is.
But the thing is so Bitcoin is its own currency,
I don't understand cryptocurrency at all. I don't.
but you can sell it for the currency we have now.
Can you?
Yeah, that's what the whole stock is.
I don't
like
know.
if I bought a Bitcoin right now,
Right.
not a Bitcoin. If I bought $10,000 worth right now, and tomorrow it goes up 20%,
Yeah.
I could sell it and make $12,000
Yeah.
cash.
Yeah.
So I used cash to buy another currency, sold that currency for my cash again.
Yeah. I don't know.
I am an idiot when it comes to crypto. I have a friend, Sean, who I was always posting about it, who I actually almost called to have him come on the show. But
Oh.
I think he's still in Arizona.
Oh.
And to try and explain it to me, because he's been a Bitcoin and ethereal
Is he a billionaire?
guru. No. I don't think no one's selling that has it. Like,
I can tell you that if I would have bought 200 shares of Bitcoin, that I would have like $15 million right now, and I would have sold a long time ago.
I know.
I don't know.
That's why I started looking into this. I'm like, okay, if this NFT thing, whatever it is, then we need to start writing music and selling it as an NFT. It's part of the blockchain. I don't understand it. It's part of the chain somehow, though.
Huh.
And people are literally talking about how the guy who bought this for $69 million can like project it onto his wall at his house, and he's the only one. But then you're like, well, I can just take a screenshot.
Yeah.
So I don't get it. I don't understand it.
I don't know. I'll have to look into it and see if
It might be the thing that breaks crypto because it's so weird. Crypto's already hard for people to understand.
Make sense because it's not backed by anything.
Well, neither is our money. And we've talked about this before.
The FDIC. That's what it says on all the banks.
No. You're thinking about the wrong thing.
Yeah.
Our money, we went off the gold standard in like the 30s.
Right.
Our cash has no actual value.
Right.
The value it has is what we believe it to be.
Well, pennies have value. They cost like 2 cents to make.
But you're right. You're right. They have the value they're made from. They're still a currency.
Right. And they're not made of silver anymore like they used to be.
But the dollar, it's only as valuable as the collective whole believes it to be, which we're all manipulated by the Fed anyway to believe that what it's worth. Right. So I tried I did, man. I spent a few hours, I know that's nothing in terms of research, trying to understand first blockchain and cryptocurrency so that I could then understand non-fungible tokens so I could sell my own.
Get on Robinhood and buy, Dogecoin's only like 0.32 cents a share right now. And if Elon Musk and Mark Cuban keep talking about it, then...
The question is, this is what I need to look into. If these take over, by the way, I think India outlawed Bitcoin today.
Oh, really?
So it tanked a little bit. I mean, it's like 57,000. If a crypto takes over, can there be more than one?
I don't.
Can you imagine going to...
There are tons of them.
Right. Like you go to like Smith's, the grocery store.
Right.
And you go to pay. It would be like paying with a euro.
Oh, we don't take...
We don't take Dogecoin.
Yeah.
We only take Bitcoin.
Well, I mean, that is how it is already.
Right.
I mean, some places do take Bitcoin. There are actual establishments that take it.
Right.
And some places do take Dogecoin,
but they're taking that risk though, right?
Who?
The people who are
the
taking the
company?
Bitcoin, right?
Yeah, I guess.
If you paid me for a meal with Bitcoin, my faith is that Bitcoin's going to stay the value of that meal.
I guess that it's just, but you're supposed to have faith in the community that holds.
Right. But that's what we do with the dollar because the government holds it together.
Right.
Right? If I give you $20 for a meal, you know that $20 is going to be worth $20 a year from now.
Yeah, but that's
If I pay you
that
a-
is not the case with cryptocurrency.
Right. If I
For
paid you a
example, I
meal-
lost 0.836 cents today of Dogcoin.
Well, I don't know if you're actually buying Dogcoin though. When you buy a stock,
I don't
you're
know
buying
either.
interest in it. Like you're buying. I don't know how that works
I don't know.
because you can actually own a Bitcoin, which is a crazy process, by the way, to mine for Bitcoin. You have to have like crazy graphics cards, and it's a weird setup. We'll have a whole show about it. But yeah, this new NFT thing, non-fungible tokens. You guys should look. I mean, it's cool art, but I don't understand how.
I'm non-fungible.
Right. I don't understand. No, I'm very fungible. So I just don't. I don't get it.
Anyway, I made $100 the other day on Robinhood. Is my point.
Right on.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Except you have to have $25,000 in your account to do like unlimited day trades, and that's per the exchange.
Unlimited day trades.
Yeah. Otherwise, you only can do 3 in a 5-day period.
That's nothing.
Yeah.
Wait, what's the fee though?
I don't know. I haven't cashed out yet.
What's the fee to trade? Is there no fee to trade?
No. Like a very.
So that's
like
why they
pennies.
limit it.
No. It's a federal trade. It's not Robinhood. It's a.
The SEC?
Yeah.
Or the FTC?
I believe so. Yeah.
Hmm.
Which is why these companies will be like, trade with our own money, because they've got the 25,000. You can get in there and trade.
But yeah, did you hear about that kid who killed himself?
No.
I'll find his name real quick. He was during the GameStop thing.
Oh.
Right? He was on Robinhood. I think he was like 20 years old. Alex Kearns. So I didn't know this about Robinhood, but you can use their money, right? To a certain extent.
Who? What? Sorry.
On Robinhood,
Yes.
you can sign up for their money, like
yeah.
with credit.
Well, I only have like
So it's like getting credit
I have
from
$1,000 instant cash limit or something. It's nothing to write home about.
So it's like getting credit from a casino.
yeah, sort of.
So this guy thought obviously suicide's very sad and it was definitely a rash decision. But this was during the GameStop thing. Robinhood made a mistake in the way that they worded his account. He believed that he lost $750,000 of not his money, right? He's not a rich person. This is a middle-class white kid, right? He was interested. Let me see if I can find it. App lets anybody buy and sell stocks with no fees and no experience. He had $5,000 in savings. On June 11th, he saw Robinhood restricted his account, reflecting what appeared to be a negative balance of $730,000. Later that night, the company sent an automated email demanding Alex take immediate action, requesting a payment of more than $170,000 in just a few days. In fact, according to the family's attorneys, Alex may not have lost money at all because of the way the options bets were structured. He thought he blew up his life. He thought he screwed up beyond repair. Alex wrote, he actually he tried to reach out as well. He asked for help, and he just got like an auto response from their support team. And let's see, later that day, he killed himself because he never.
Oh man, if I killed myself every time I went into debt, I would have been dead a long time ago.
$750,000. You know, I'm not.
Yeah,
There might have been some other
there
stuff
must have
going
been
on.
other issues going on there because that.
But you can imagine the panic. You know, I can't remember if it said how old he was.
But your first instinct I don't know, man.
Well, no, his first instinct was to reach out and say, "What are you guys talking about? I don't owe you money." And then they never got back to him. You know.
Well, still, I
know.
Whatever.
I
Yeah,
know. It's just sad.
Yeah, it is.
And I was listening to the radio about it, and one guy, a financial guru, was saying how dirty he thinks Robinhood is. That they let people who don't have money play with fake money that then they owe if they lose. So it's just like gambling. It's just like gambling. So you like
I don't. Everything that I've put in is all mine. It comes straight out of my checking account.
there must be something that I'm missing then with Robinhood, because they made it sound like you can get credit somehow.
You might be able to. I don't know. I mean, the way it works is it invests for you instantly instead of waiting for it to come, to clear everything, or it sells everything instantly.
I just don't know.
You can't cash it out of your account that way.
I don't know how this guy who had $5,000 to his name would get to the point where he thought he owed $750,000.
I don't know either.
Because he would have had to get up there.
If he put all 5,000 into GameStop for that whole thing, then that.
But so that's the thing. If you put $5,000 in, and it gets up to $1 million, and then it tanks back down to 5,000, you don't owe anybody money.
You don't lose anything. Yeah,
right.
That's just
so
stupid.
I think I want to say in one of the articles I read, they said that there was bad messaging. You know what I mean? And how they relayed the message to him. Anyway, it's just sad all around. It's really sad all around.
I don't know. I think my opinion of Robinhood is that investing was out of everyone's reach.
Right.
And it's a great way to make random money and save money, but it's only for people who, can afford a stockbroker or whatever. So I kind of feel like this has made it where
it's true. And
the GameStop thing really,
yeah,
it took down some billionaires, man. And
it did. But did anybody who wasn't rich get rich?
Yeah, definitely.
Really?
Oh yeah,
because it tanked all at once.
No, you had days to sell out. It's still up in the 100-somethings per share.
Let's look.
I mean,
But that's the thing though. So they crowdsourced this, right? They got 2 million people to buy shares.
Yeah.
That means that
somebody got hosed.
Only a few of them.
Somebody got hosed.
Most of them got hosed.
I don't think so, because as long as you sold it before it reached the complete bottom, you made something.
It's at it's at like a basement. Hang on, let's go back 6 months.
220 per share. It started at like 15 per share.
Let's see. Yeah. Okay. So before the $19.95.
So imagine you take $5,000 and invest that into
right, but not everyone can do that.
No,
only a couple people
can
sell at the right time.
You're right, but no, I mean you
right. It's literally the odds. The odds are probably the same as landing on a roulette number.
No, if you hit it when it's up at $3.47 a share and sell.
But there's 2 million people who are selling at the same time. You don't all get to sell for the same number.
No, it will go down, but you're still going to make something. You're not going to go all the way back down to. It hasn't gone back down.
It went down to 53.
You still made something. I'm just saying that there's plenty of people who made some amount of money on here, and there are people who invested, who put in like $100,000 and made out
if they sold.
If they were, there are people that did not sell, and those people were stupid.
I mean,
I can tell you, the second my account said like 60,000, like sell.
I mean, the stock market comes down to like tenths of a second.
Yeah,
right. You can't. All 2 million people can't sell at the same price at the same time, because then there's not enough money.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I mean, yes, of course, but I mean. It didn't drop all the way back down to $17. So as long as you've sold, you made something.
Right.
And there were some people who definitely made a lot. And there are some people who didn't sell, and those people are stupid.
Well, it's still high right now, like you said.
No, but it's a fringe. Like it's not. This company is not worth that much by any means.
It's all fake though.
It's worth $19 a share. I mean. It's GameStop, man. Nobody buys games anymore. They just download them.
Right. 9 investors instantly make $16 billion on GameStop squeeze. This was on February 1st. Fidelity, BlackRock, Chewy. So these are already rich assholes that joined the serfs.
Look, if I could have put my $1,300 that I have right now into GameStop, I we could have moved to a brand new studio, state of the art, and quit our jobs. And
What are you talking about? This place is...
No, I mean like state of the art, like holographic 3D projections and I'm just joking.
Co-founder of Chewy, Ryan Cohen, still owns 9 million shares.
Well,
that translates to $2.8 billion.
So is he the one that's keeping it up?
He's got to be.
Is he just doing it to be nice?
Well, because I don't know how many stocks are out there. So we know the value, but we don't know how many are there, right? Like, we know the stock is worth $53, but we don't know how many stocks are available. That's up to the company.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I don't know how we got on that.
I don't know. That's true. How did we get on that?
Bitcoin to suicide to Robinhood. Yeah.
Well, speaking of suicide, this man in Oklahoma committed... what are we calling this now? Cancel suicide? He canceled himself, basically.
How so?
And you, have you ever been, diagnosed for pre-diabetes, or you have any chance of getting the betis?
It does not run in my family.
Mm-hmm.
My dad got it because he has pancreatitis.
Right. Oh, your dad has it, huh?
Yeah, because his pancreas doesn't work.
Okay. You got to watch what he says then. All right.
Okay.
So an announcer, a 6A, which I guess is a thing now, women's basketball announcer, made some comments on a hot mic. Now,
he blamed it on his beaties?
Wait a second. Let me tell the freaking story.
Well, you prefaced it. You prefaced it.
No, he didn't.
Oh, okay.
God, let me tell the story. Anyway, so at this point,
what did he say?
Why are people still making these comments around a microphone?
Well, what
so the women's, one of the teams, the Norman team or one of the Oklahoma teams, knelt during the anthem.
Okay.
And he called them effing N-words.
Oh.
And he just kind of went off and he said it multiple times and he's like, I hope they lose, blah, 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 blah.
Was it a hot mic or was it him saying it as commentary?
No. It was hot. It was a hot mic because it was during the anthem.
Okay. He thought his mic was off.
Yeah. Hey, why are people still stupid enough to do that? Anyway, he made a apology today.
I don't give a fuck if
yesterday.
you make an apology. You don't mean it.
No, you don't understand.
All right, go
Diabetes makes you racist.
Oh, jeez.
And he blamed it on a blood sugar spike. He's like, I don't normally talk like this. It was, my beatus.
If
anyone that's buying that,
if high blood sugar brings out the worst in you, it's still the worst in you.
Right?
It's still you. Right?
Right.
You're still racist. Like it doesn't change anything.
That is the most laughable defense
Right.
I have ever heard. I think ever.
It's like drugs, man. Like when someone who's drunk says something belligerent, you don't get off because you're drunk.
Right.
You still said it. That's still you. You just were uninhibited.
Right.
Which means it's really the core of you.
Right.
Like,
It's actually, it's more damning, right?
Right. And that's I hate to reference Bill Cosby.
Right.
But he had that joke about cocaine that it amplifies your personality or something.
Uh-huh.
And his punchline was, well, what if you're an asshole? So this is the same thing. Like there's no excuse at this point.
Yeah, I don't know what this guy plans to do. He's not going to be announcing anymore.
Well, what people need to learn in all of these situations right now, and we can talk about Andrew Cuomo too in a second.
Yeah.
But is just issue an apology. No reason, no excuse is ever going to satisfy anyone. People may want to hear one, but it's never going to satiate. It's never going to be enough. So just leave it at an apology.
If you're going to give an excuse, make sure it's something like someone had a gun to my head and they literally said they were going to blow my brains out if I didn't say this.
I went home that night, felt on the back of my neck a chip.
Yeah.
And pulled out a SIM card.
Honestly, I would have taken that way better.
Right.
Than this. At least I would have been like, oh, he's a whack job.
He's
now
crazy.
I'm like, this guy's just an idiot. He's a complete moron.
Right, because if he's just a whack job, well, then it's almost okay to be racist.
Right.
No, he's just an asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's stay on this topic though. Okay. Let's play this clip. Will you turn up my Bluetooth here?
Yeah, it should be up.
This is Ray C. Burnfin is his name. Walker County, was it Georgia?
Most likely.
He is, I'll put this on the screen so you can watch this on TikTok if you'd like, but it's an old man, probably in his 70s. He is dressed like the Lone Ranger, and what I mean is he's wearing a brown leather coat, a cream-colored cowboy hat, and a mask that looks like, it's like the mask on The Princess Bride. The Lone Ranger.
Zorro.
Or Zorro, right. So let's just play this for a minute here. It'll kick on in a sec here, I think.
Your time has started, sir.
Crank that up.
Need to go.
I said I didn't want no start. I've got some terms here that have to be identified, and you can't call me out of order.
Well, I determine when your time started, and that's when you were recognized.
I'm asking some questions now, Senator.
You need to go to the public.
I asked you in the last meeting. I asked you for a personal and private conversation, and you took my telephone number down. You committed to me that, and it's been advised that I should speak in private to some of you.
I actually don't know what they're arguing about, but he's about to speak.
I don't know either.
It's fine.
He's definitely
he has dictionaries.
He's definitely a reasonable guy.
He has dictionaries and Bibles in his hand. So let this argument play out, and he'll get to the podium in a second.
You and my Commissioner Stokes.
That's right.
And you wrote my telephone number down.
We intend to get with you, sir.
Well, you haven't got with me yet, and it's my time to talk.
No, you don't understand, sir. I intend to get with you.
I just noticed on his shoulder he has an American flag and a Confederate flag. As well.
Language. I have a number. I have 2 dictionaries here, and I have a book of law. This book right here, okay? Now, we're talking about terms, and I'll just tell you that I have it right here. I can go through every one of these.
He's looking at a dictionary.
I don't find any word in the English language that says N-word. That is N-W-O-R-D. But I do find the other term. I don't find terms like political correctness in here, okay? That's just for a good start. I've got terms of what racism actually is. I've got terms in here that describes, and if I speak any of these terms, I'm not talking out of line.
Thanks for the disclaimer.
The word nigger is in here, but...
It's nice to see all these redneck yokels getting pissed off about this.
Your time is up. It's time for you to go, sir.
Okay, that's enough because it's actually not necessarily what I want to talk about.
Okay.
So this,
I want to know if he thought the mask was like hiding his identity. Like
I have
the
no
next
idea.
day, people were like, "Did you hear about that guy, John? Oh, what did he do?
Right.
Sounds like a real hero."
He's like
to
Bruce
me.
Wayne. Yeah, I don't know exactly what his point was going to be. Some of the articles said that he talked about the Confederate flag more. Obviously, he just wanted to say the word.
He'd been holding it back for a while.
Yeah.
He needed to get it out.
So, 2 points. First, as I was trying to find this clip before we started the show, I Googled it, and I couldn't find him, but I could find clip after clip after clip of other people saying it. So that's really disappointing.
Right.
So, come on, guys. Like, if you're arguing that racism isn't real, just stop listening. It's fine. But what I want to talk about, though, I came across this clip on TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
My daughter Quinn is 4 years old. She has a 7-year-old friend who lives across the street from us who's black.
Mm-hmm.
They were playing in our family room.
Right.
And I had TikTok at a normal volume. It was down because I know that TikTok can be a little rough sometimes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this came on, and I didn't know what it was. And he got to that word, and I almost shat my pants. And I had this I was overcome with just a sinking feeling of that she may have heard that word in my house.
Well, I mean, you had that Black Lives Matter sign pointing at their house, you
Right.
know, and so they're probably like, she probably went home and she was like, Mr. Bryan said the N-word, and We think that it may be just an affront, and he's actually a closet racist with the guy across the street that has the 6 no trespassing signs and 3 fences.
But you know those
True
moments like this, where these other people stand up and say, enough, you're out. You always wonder what you would do in those moments. It almost felt like that. I had this visceral response of, I was actually really sad, though, that I may have accidentally exposed her.
Right.
Look, she's 7 years old, and unfortunately, there's a good chance that she's probably heard it, right? Just based on on stuff we've talked about. Like, it just happens too often.
Yeah, I mean, we say it all the time on this show.
Right. So, I don't know. I don't know where I was really going with that, other than just, like, it was so strange in that context.
I think
to hear it and be like, oh my gosh, there is my daughter's best friend is right there. What if she heard that in my house? I feel so bad.
I think that from watching this video, you should be more relieved than anything, because the people that are standing up and yelling at this guy and calling him a racist, if I were to see them on the street, I'd be like, that's Trump.
That's
Trump
true.
Trump voter equals a racist. I mean, it doesn't, but that's, kind of just like Democrat equals abortion, it's
right.
the same kind of thing.
Right.
So I think it's a little heartening that these people are getting up.
That's true.
And getting mad at this guy when a couple of years ago they might have been just like, okay, John, settle down.
Right.
But they're up and they're fiery. They're like, get out of here.
And
you're a racist. Get out of here.
And this is a cop, it looks like, who is approaching him, probably to escort him out. But
he's probably actually going to give him a pat on the back.
It's hard
I agree with John.
I don't want to watch anymore. I don't think he says anything, but it's hard to imagine what point he was trying to make.
And why at a city council meeting?
Right.
Like,
I don't know, and why you needed to say it. And by the way, you should bleep that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want me to do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll try
and remember.
You don't bleep anything else. You just cut yourself out. That's all. It was just that's the whole reason we do this show, is to talk about these moments we have, and it was just weird.
It should also be hardened because that guy's pretty old,
yeah.
And he's a generation that's going to move on pretty soon, hopefully. And the more of that generation that leaves, the better things will probably be. I mean, although I do see a lot of young kids nowadays, they're oh boy,
right. While we're on the topic of racism, the RNC. Did you see this?
Whoa.
The RNC stage. Okay, here's a picture of it. Let me throw this up on TikTok again. This is the stage at the Republican National... I'm sorry, not RNC, CPAC. CPAC.
Whatever, same difference.
It is the same. And this is a comparison to what's called the Odal Rune, which was a symbol worn by the SS.
Huh.
Tell me you think that's an accident.
I'm not going to buy into conspiracy. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
Really?
I don't know.
Confederate flags and swastikas at the Capitol? That kind of benefit of the doubt?
But this is, I don't know.
This was by the way, this CPAC was different than most. This CPAC wasn't about conservatism. This CPAC was about Trump.
And Ted Cruz.
Right. We'll get on him next.
Really?
Not get on him, but we'll talk about him next.
You have Ted Cruz stuff?
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I've seen stages like that before.
I've never seen a stage like this. It has no practical function. There's no steps in here.
Well, if you were like U2 or something, then there would be people in those slats.
Right, but there's not.
Well, maybe that's all the arena had.
And the organizer of CPAC said that it was the best use of the space we had, which is absolute utter bullshit, because the best space that we have, we've known for centuries, it's a rectangle, just like every stage. Perhaps a circle. Never an Odal Rune.
Look, I can see myself doing that, setting it up like, this is kind of cool, I don't know, man. I don't know.
I don't buy it. I'm not saying that everyone at CPAC was in on it. I'm saying that the one guy whose job it was to design this was either influenced.
Why not just do a swastika then? Just get it all out there.
I don't know. I'm not.
what is the
Yeah, I'm
difference
not one for
between-
conspiracy theories either. But this is utter nonsense. It's the exact same shape.
How do you turn it into a swastika? You have to cut out.
I don't know. It's actually,
It's almost there. You just have to cut out the middle there.
and it was only like there you go. There's a flag right there. But yeah, they have a picture of a German SS. Some of them had the SS, on their collar. One regiment had the rune right there on their collar. So pretty weird, man. But talking about Ted Cruz, let's talk about Ted Cruz.
Hold on. I was even ready, and I dropped the ball.
We're gonna talk about Ted Cruz.
Ted Cruz!
And Dr. Seuss.
Ted Cruz!
Now you might remember that Ted Cruz holds the record for the longest filibuster.
Ted Cruz!
Do you remember how long his filibuster was?
I didn't know that No.
21 hours he stood on the Senate floor.
What are you talking about? Dr. Seuss?
Yeah, he did. He filibustered for 21 hours, probably wearing a diaper because you can't. I'm serious. I'm dead serious.
That's part laughing, part choking on what I was drinking.
Because you can't leave the podium for anything. You can't even sit down. So he stood for 21 hours, and at one point, like 9 hours in, he read Green Eggs and Ham because his daughters were watching, and it was their bedtime.
What an idiot.
And he's a fuckface, so he read Dr. Seuss. Now,
Ted Cruz!
let's combine that with what's going on in society right now. The Dr. Seuss Foundation. I don't know if that's what it's called, but it's the conservatorship that owns Dr. Seuss. He's dead, right? That owns his books.
They own his frozen body.
I'm
that
just trying to
we
make
brought back to life with Walt Disney.
I'm trying to make clear up front how this decision was made.
Right.
It had nothing to do with conservatives or liberals or any political agenda. It had everything to do with the Dr. Seuss Foundation.
Right.
Decided to pull a few books that had racist overtones.
Right.
I'll just give you an example of one.
Okay.
I think it's called the Strange Things I Saw on Mulberry Street or something like that.
That's a good one. I don't know. I don't remember.
These are Dr. Seuss books that I don't think people know.
They're deep cuts.
Look, you can buy it on eBay for $200. And to think I saw it on Mulberry Street is what it is. And the page in the book that originally was written was something like to see a Chinaman with chopsticks. Okay, and the character is colored yellow. He's wearing chopsticks has chopsticks. Dr. Seuss later changed it to a Chinese boy because Chinaman is not
right
preferred. So even Dr. Seuss knew that it's kind of weird. Now, and you can't tell me it's not weird because how would you feel if you were a Chinese boy and you read this book and to think I saw it on Mulberry Street as if it's a strange thing, right? That's the whole point.
Right.
That's just an example. So Ted Cruz decided to capitalize, though.
Of course.
He, for a $60 donation to the Ted Cruz campaign that he's hopefully going to lose to Beto.
Or anybody. Seriously.
For $60, he'll send you a signed copy of Green Eggs and Ham.
Cool. I've always wanted to have a crappy senator's autograph. Have you ever asked a politician for an autograph?
No. It's just
you're not famous.
It's
you're famous because people hate you.
We were talking. Ashley and I were talking about politicians and history and that kind of thing, and we're like, dude, 50 years from now, no one's gonna remember you.
No,
we can barely remember vice presidents, right?
That's how I know when somebody recommends a movie to me. Have I told you that before? I ask them who the vice president is, and if they don't know, there's no way I'm going to see that movie.
That's a great rule.
It is.
I love that.
It is.
So, I mean, imagine...
I can go back to...
Ted Cruz's grandchildren are going to find this book. Or, no, I'm sorry, not Ted Cruz. Some Texan.
Yeah.
Going to find this book on a shelf 50 years from now. Like, is this signed by Dr. Seuss? No,
they take it to Pawn Stars.
My dad got it signed
after inspection, it's Ted Cruz. This is worthless. It's actually you owe us money now.
You wasted my time.
Like it's like the fee for getting rid of your tires.
Ashley brought up a great point that Seuss should sue for royalties. You know what I mean? Like Or like a cease and desist. Like, you can't. You're signing our book, man. Why are you signing our book? It should be understood that Green Eggs and Ham has not been canceled.
No, that's a good one, man. Talks about green eggs and ham.
But you want to know the irony of the Green Eggs and Ham story? The true irony of him reading it during his filibuster?
Is exactly what was coming out of him into his diaper?
Yeah. He was filibustering for Obamacare. Okay? And Green Eggs and Ham, against. He didn't want Obamacare to pass, so he used the filibuster. Green Eggs and Ham is about a guy who doesn't even want to try it. And then when he tries it, it tastes good. And I can't take credit for that joke. I believe it was Jon Stewart. But it was amazing irony that Ted Cruz is up there reading that during this. Anyway, it's just kind of funny.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Ted Cruz is so stupid.
So stupid.
Oh, there's so many, didn't Tucker Carlson do something this week that was incredibly stupid?
I'm going to find this, and we'll talk about it after the break. Somebody found some audio of Tucker from, 2007.
Oh, can we cancel him?
Well, he's a conservative.
Oh, you can't cancel conservatives?
No.
They're already canceled. They're born with original cancel.
Trump has, 26 accusers. Conservatives don't get canceled.
Did you hear my religion joke? They're born with original cancel. They're canceled before they even are born.
Let's take a break.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I'm going to find this Tucker Carlson audio, and we'll talk about it after random headlines.
Tucker Carlson. Okay, when we come back, we have random headlines that I'm just finding now, which is why I've seemed a little aloof the last 5 minutes.
Truth is, Spencer just doesn't like it when I talk.
Yeah. No.
That's the truth.
Well, I mean, let's see. I don't know what else we have. That might be it. I don't know. Maybe we'll do a who the hell Googled this? If we can think of one. All right. All that and that. That's it when we come back.
Bye.
Look, Karen, Paradise needs a safe house. This town is facing its gravest threat in history. Gypsies.
You've got to be kidding me. I thought I was the only one taking the gypsy threat seriously. I've seen the numerous segments Tucker Carlson has devoted to it on Fox News.
I know Fox News never does this, but maybe they're whipping you into an irrational frenzy over nothing?
No, it's very real.
Anyone out there can Google Tucker Carlson Gypsy Apocalypse right now. You'll see we're not f***ing around.
This is the Our Take Podcast. We interrupt your regularly scheduled program to bring you these random headlines.
We're back. Hope you enjoyed whatever clip Spencer put in there.
Oh.
By the way, find us at the Our Take Pod on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and most importantly, TikTok. The other ones don't even really matter anymore. Just TikTok.
I'm trying to think what cartoons I've watched that have had funny stuff in them.
All of them?
Oh, Family Guy was funny a couple of weeks ago. The Oscar the Grouch bit. And
that was funny. I
watched the new season of Paradise PD. That one's pretty funny.
Paradise PD.
Yeah, it's on Netflix. Sea slugs. Are you familiar with a sea slug?
No, but I can imagine.
They look like slugs.
Sure. They live in
they're a little more colorful, and you're not going to believe this part. They live
in the ocean.
In the ocean.
They are cool looking. They're very pretty.
So researchers recently have discovered that the heads of young slugs started to feed within just hours of being detached from the body.
Wait. That's a weird way to put that. Within just hours.
They discovered two species of sea slug that can grow bodies complete with a heart and other internal organs while observing them for other studies. So basically, they can cut their head off,
and they grow a new heart.
Yeah, they grow a whole new body.
That's amazing.
One of the creatures was seen moving around without its body on one occasion, and another was seen doing the same thing twice.
Wait, moving around without its body?
Yeah. The head moved on its own immediately after being separated from the body, and within just days, the wound at the back of the head had closed, according to a peer-reviewed blah, 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 blah. The report also found that the heads of young sea slugs started to feed on algae. Well, where's it going?
Well, these can take over then. If we can't kill them and they just regrow, what are we going to do?
You know, hopefully they take these sea slugs and start doing research on regenerating.
They probably
bodies.
have 5 neurons, and they're probably really big.
You know, I've been watching. Speaking of sea creatures, I've been watching the show on Sci-Fi. It's new, called Resident Alien. It's about this alien that crash lands and has to blend in, and
like E.T.
Yeah, well,
I've
except
seen
he
that.
can disguise himself as a human.
Oh, okay.
And it's pretty funny. Anyway, at one point he starts talking to an octopus, and it has this cutaway where this asteroid lands in the ocean, and an asteroid that came from outer space.
Yeah.
And that's what made the octopi.
Ah, okay.
It's interesting, right?
That is interesting.
That could have happened. 'Cause
All right.
I'm telling you, octopus, man, if they were to get out of the ocean,
yeah, they'd take over.
They are smart, man.
They are. If they learn to work together, maybe that's what
I think
they're lacking.
They can.
I don't know. Maybe that's what they're lacking, though.
I'll have to do some research.
Yeah.
A yard sale bowl. A yard sale bowl revealed to be a rare Chinese artifact. In a tale, the stuff of yard sale legend, a small porcelain bowl sold at its $35 asking price.
Who buys a bowl for $35?
That's exactly. That was my.
Yard
That was my
sale.
first thought. Is 50 cents? Try to haggle it down to 25. I don't know. So it's a porcelain bowl, and they sold it for $35, and they sought an evaluation from appraisers, and they determined that the bowl dates back to the Ming Dynasty of the early 1400s and is estimated to be worth between $300,000 and $500,000.
Holy shit!
$300,000 and $500,000.
Is there?
What's the ethical thing to do?
Right. Is there any protection under the law for yard sale, or is it really just like as is, seller beware?
I think it's as is, seller beware, man.
What would you do?
Oh, there's.
Actually, I know what you would do.
Come on, dude.
What would the average person
Remember,
do?
you're talking about the guy who stops the pay it forward every time.
Right. I mean, I'm not saying that I might. I mean, I guess it depends on if you would even sell it.
Oh, yes.
The Ming Dynasty. How did this get passed down, and who forgot to tell? Right? One generation forgot to tell the next. By the way, that bowl,
it's old.
That's our whole life savings. is in that bowl.
There's always money in the banana stand.
Right. This woman.
That's totally what somebody's grandpa. Like, there's always money in the porcelain bowl.
This woman came home and told her husband, "I bought this bowl," and he's like, "What? A couple bucks? $35."
What? At a garage sale? You're gonna get the back of my hand.
And somehow, who had the wherewithal to, so they must have known they were getting one over at the yard sale. They must have known somehow.
To pay $35 for it.
And they're like,
okay. Yeah, 35, 50, whatever you want.
Sold.
Yeah.
You can't take it back now.
Oh, yeah.
You already said it.
Nope.
You're on camera. That's interesting. See if they sell it.
Oh, look, it's part of a collection. Of the 6 bowls of this kind to exist, they're all in museums. None is in 2 are in the National Palace Museum in Taiwan.
Taipei.
Yeah, 2 are at museums in London, and 1 is in the National Museum of Iran.
Oh man,
that's scary.
There's on Google here. There's a picture of a guy holding it, hands cupped. No cotton gloves. I would never pick that thing up.
Well, after I found out it was worth that much, I would be too afraid.
Right.
I would want to get rid of it ASAP.
Right.
Get it insured, put it in a safe deposit box, and
How
get
do
it to
I-
auction.
Yeah. What form of packaging do I need? I need blankets and springs and.
a full suspension.
Yeah, it's 2x4s with a little trampoline. Yeah.
Listen, you take that $500,000, you put it into GameStop.
Right.
Next thing you know,
$1 billion. I made $1 billion from the Ming Dynasty.
Yeah. So I guess maybe we should go garage selling. This kind of stuff never happens to me. Never. Like if I find an old penny, or an old nickel or something that looks a little weird.
You're like, I found a copper 43.
Yeah, with the buffalo head and blah, blah, blah. You look it up, it's like, that's worth -1 cent. Like, if it had this particular marking from the Denver Mint,
right,
then it would be worth $500,000.
Start forging it like Murder Amongst the Mormons.
Oh, yeah. And that kind of stuff it doesn't happen to me,
Yeah, I know.
Mm-hmm. A rare yellow cardinal. And we're not talking about the bird. We're talking about a member of the Vatican.
I don't believe you.
You are right to not believe me.
Like, do they wear different colors? Pretty sure they wear red.
Cardinals are usually associated with Cardinals are usually associated with bright red colors on their feathers. But a couple in Illinois said, a yellow version of the bird hangs out in their backyard. And people were like,
bullshit.
Bull. But then they got a picture and they found it. And apparently this particular cardinal was from the Ming Dynasty. And is worth between $300,000 and $500,000.
Oh, we've been going too long. Yeah. That's what this means.
Anyway, so it's got a picture of it though. It's I want one as a pet. I love
yellow
it's
cardinal.
Kind of orangish, and orange is my favorite color. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled for an orange cardinal, because apparently they are 1 in a million, and get it appraised and sell it.
Right on. I like it.
There's about 50 million. Wait. How do they know this? It says there's only about 10 or 12 yellow cardinals in the eastern U.S. and eastern Canada in any given year. Apparently there's about 50 million or more cardinals in that area.
There's 50 million normal cardinals.
Right.
And how many yellow?
10 to 12.
Did they catch this one?
Yeah, I don't know.
You got to catch it.
Right?
You must.
Got to put it in a Pokeball.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty.
Huh. Yeah, you go sell
It's a
that
mutation.
to, PetSmart or something.
Oh, anyway, that is your random headline.
Thanks for that. Speaking of cardinals, I got to talk some massive shit on the Vatican for a second.
Okay.
So a few months ago, maybe it's like a year ago, the Pope did a documentary with a Mexican television station.
Uh-huh.
And this part didn't air, but basically he was saying that there should be gay civil unions.
Right.
And everybody thought, oh, it's this liberal Pope. That's what he does, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that leaked like a few months ago.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe not leaked, but whatever. Came
Speaking
out.
of liberal Pope, did you hear about Uchtdorf?
I did, yes. Elder Uchtdorf clandestinely donated to the Democratic Party.
You, that's why Nelson kicked him out.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But today they responded to an official question. I guess you can get an official request regarding about whether the Catholic clergy have the authority to bless gay unions. I'm not familiar with Catholic doctrine, so I don't know exactly what that means.
I'm not familiar with Catholic gay weddings.
Right.
I don't know either. I just know that have you ever been to a Catholic wedding?
No.
They're terrible and super long, and you have to stand up and kneel a lot.
Really?
They are awful.
Interesting.
As most Catholic services are.
So the Pope released a 2-page statement.
Do you think sacrament meeting is bad?
He said on Monday that the Catholic Church won't bless same-sex unions since God cannot bless sin. Catholic people recognize the holiness of the love between committed same-sex couples, and recognize this love as divinely inspired and divinely supported, and thus meets the standard to be blessed. Wait a second. Did I just read that right? Catholic people recognize the holiness of the love between committed same-sex couples and recognize this love as divinely inspired and divinely supported and thus meets the standard to be blessed. The Vatican holds that gay people must be treated with dignity and respect, but that gay sex is intrinsically disordered. I'm really confused. I read this article, but now I'm lost. And I'm wondering if the AP typoed this? Because, can I read you that paragraph again?
Yeah.
Catholic people recognize the holiness of the love between committed same-sex couples and recognize this love as divinely inspired and divinely supported and thus meets the standard to be blessed. I am so sorry. Let me back up. That statement's not from the Pope. That statement is from Francis De Bernardo, Executive Director of the New Ways Ministry, which advocates for greater acceptance of gays in the church.
Okay.
That's, oh my gosh.
Wow. Misspeaking there. That's great journalism.
That was a Tucker. That's what I call that.
I'll say.
So anyway, but the Pope said, yes, it's intrinsically disordered. Catholic teaching says that marriage is a lifelong union between a man and a woman, is part of God's plan, and is intended for the sake of creating new life. Since gay unions aren't intended to be part of that plan, they can't be blessed by the church. The presence in such relationships of positive elements, which are in themselves to be valued and appreciated, cannot justify these relationships and render them legitimate objects of an ecclesial blessing, since the positive elements exist within the context of a union, not ordered to the Creator's plan.
So they're like every other religion?
Yeah,
What's your point?
So it's just, 3 months ago it was like, oh, cool, Pope. And now it's like, hey, fuck you, Pope.
Hey. The Pope doesn't speak for God. Wait. Maybe the Pope was caving into political pressure. He was going to get voted out as new Pope.
What I want to know is, did they have to respond to this question? It's the same point I make all the time.
Priests can still bless people who are gay, who live in fidelity.
Everybody knows where churches stand, so they don't need to advertise. It's always been my point. All you're doing here is alienating and making more and more people feel like shit.
Well, it sounds to me like it was just something that was said, and then the news took it and made it into a news story.
They took what he said, the positive one, from a few months ago and spun that one.
Yeah.
This one, he's very clear.
Yeah.
That being gay is a sin.
Right.
I
have said for you, not just joking.
Here's the funny part, though, and I've used this a lot when I've talked with people. Catholic people recognize I'm sorry, that's the same one.
It's a guy, shirtless guy.
Let's see. Sake of creating new life.
Uh-huh.
So I've heard this argument a lot.
Right.
So can you get married if you're sterile?
No.
Can you get blessed?
No, you straight to hell.
Okay.
Straight to hell. Skip purgatory.
Right.
Can
you stay married if you don't have children?
You know what the answer is to all these questions that you have is that God will figure it out in the end. That's basically the fallback for every...
Except the Pope didn't say that here.
Every question. Will handicap go to hell? Well, God will figure it out. He'll figure it out. But really, if you look at the doctrine, then they will go to hell.
I would actually rather take that. I would rather have the Pope say, I don't know.
Well, he's the Pope. He has to know.
He doesn't have to know. Catholics don't believe that he's talking to God.
Right.
At least my understanding is they don't.
I don't think so.
Anyway,
I don't know, man.
Just another... Just keep twisting that knife into people's backs. It's fine.
Well...
That's fine.
I was thinking... Just... You know what there's a lot of money in? Religion.
Yeah.
So, the other night, I had a vision.
I know on this show, I have said the LGBTQ community just needs to start a church.
Yeah.
And then their gay marriage would be completely protected.
L. Ron Hubbard came to me. Turns out...
In the form of an alien.
You're not going to believe this. Turns out, Scientology is the only true religion.
Right. And he was in the form of Alf.
Yeah. That's crazy, man. I mean, granted, I did watch Alf before, and, was
right.
had my thetans read, that afternoon. But
right, you had a cheesy burrito, so your dreams were, yeah.
He's got the Alf voice and everything. I am.
Oh man,
I am L. Ron Hubbard. Oh man.
Oh jeez. Whatever. You know how I feel about it.
About Catholics?
Well, now.
Well, don't worry, because soon we'll have a liberal prophet here in Utah once Uchtdorf seizes power from the almighty Nelson.
I was going to talk about Tucker Carlson.
Oh, yeah.
But I realized it's actually kind of an older story. But nevertheless, he was not caught. He was on Bubba the Love Sponge show in 2007.
Oh, that's a great show.
And was talking about Miss Teen USA contestants in a manner that is reprehensible.
Oh, so we should elect him to president then.
Right. Because this was Trump's pageant.
Right.
Right. Yeah. He said that he mused that one of the teens would probably be a good wife. Don't you think, if you had a wife that dumb, would it be good or bad?
I don't know, Tucker. We'll have to ask your wife what it's like having a spouse that dumb.
Carlson then carried on before making a final inappropriate comment. I was thinking about tapping my foot next to her stall. He said
that is only funny if you know that story.
And that was probably around that time.
Yeah,
07.
I'm sure.
He said she's vulnerable. She's like a wounded gazelle,
What's
separated
he doing
from
in
the herd.
women's restroom?
He then went on to suggest that,
or maybe what's she doing in the men's restroom?
Pageant host Mario Lopez must have had sex with the teen, who was
obviously
described by the radio show's host as being 17.
Those people are all hardcore right-wingers, aren't they?
Yeah. Weird. Good old Tucker. Good old Tucker.
I can't wait till he
to see
is
him
brought
in hell.
down. Somehow he's going to get... he slammed the military this week.
Al Franken was canceled because of a picture of him lunging at breasts as a joke.
Right. That's right.
Tucker Carlson is talking about having sex with a 17-year-old girl and marrying her.
Right, like you do.
And he's still on Fox.
Well, of course.
This is what conservatives don't get canceled.
Oh. That's unfortunate.
Andrew Cuomo should resign.
You think so?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So everybody's at the same standard here.
I don't know. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I'm not going to defend him at all because he kind of seemed like a dirtbag to me to begin with, but him and his brother kind of seem skeevy. But
well, for one thing, this nursing home thing is pretty bad.
Right.
He should probably resign for that and maybe even face some sort of sanction. It's pretty messed up. I understand he was in the middle of a really bad situation, an emergency.
Yeah.
But it's pretty weird. He lied. People were lied to.
Right.
About their elderly family members. But yeah, having this many people come out, we started this podcast because of Brett Kavanaugh.
And I did have somewhat of a defense for Brett Kavanaugh, even though I think he's a terrible person and gross. But my defense, this is it was a different situation. It was more of a, can we really be held accountable for things we did? Because, we change. We're a lot different. And that was kind of my argument against that. But I wish that we had some way to prove this.
Well, he's admitted to some of it.
Has he?
Yeah. So there's been allegations now of physical touching, and he's denied those. But the comments about have you dated an older man, that kind of thing, that made his female young staffers uncomfortable, he is admitted to. He said, yeah, I did say it. Maybe it was in bad taste. Okay, well, that's enough, Andrew. That's enough.
I just don't like the idea of canceling someone so quickly or so I'm trying to think what I'm trying to say here.
These aren't years old though, right?
Mm-hmm.
These are like, it was 2020.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Pandemic really sparred it on.
It was 20. Like the Me Too movement was was full in steam.
I guess what I'm saying is I don't like the idea of it being possible for someone to just say something like remember we've talked about that when I was on the airplane and I was buckling my seatbelt and I accidentally touched that girl's butt, slightly. I had no intentions of it. But what happens when she's like goes up to the cockpit and is like, this guy just groped me.
Right.
And then I'm like,
but we see this a lot amongst victims. We see this a lot where one comes forward and that makes others feel comfortable, feel safe to do so, right? I tend to believe people, especially when more people are coming out, right?
Yeah, no, I agree. I just
he's entitled to due process. And if that's the road you go down and say he's got to go through impeachment and investigation,
right.
Fine. He's going to be impeached by the New York Assembly, which is Democrat, by the way.
Well, Democrats always turn on themselves. That's
Democrats turn on bullshit.
Yeah, they do.
That's what they do. So, yeah. If this was a Republican governor, I'd be saying the same thing.
Well, yeah, but he wouldn't be. He'd be fine because Republicans just do that.
Right.
They grab,
Yeah. Grab him by the pussy. They do it. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. He does seem skeevy, and I fully believe that he did all of that. I just I don't know. I just don't like the idea.
If they were like 15-year-old allegations,
here's what
20-year-old allegations.
I wish that I could understand, and I can't because of my sex and because I'm fat. No, I wish I could understand how it feels like to not want to come out and tell your story.
Right.
That is what I have. I'm not blaming anybody or saying that it's wrong or whatever. I'm just saying, me personally, I have a hard time wrapping around my head being scared to go after somebody if they wrong you. I have, to me, if someone...
You got to look at the power of it.
If someone touched my penis, I'd be like, what? Why did you touch my penis?
You have to look at the power of the situation, though.
And then I'd ask them to continue, obviously.
So imagine that you graduate from high school, you go to college for 4 years, study political science.
Yeah.
You intern for politicians. You do what you have to do. And then you get on the staff of the governor of one of the most populous states in the country.
Uh-huh.
Really, just any governor.
Right.
It's what you've wanted to do your whole life.
Right.
He says or does something inappropriate to you. He has the power.
Yeah.
Right?
I guess that makes sense.
Like, these women's careers could still be ruined by this, even if he resigns or if he's impeached and kicked out.
It shouldn't be.
Right? Their careers could be ruined still. They could be flagged, blackballed, so to speak. So
I guess that makes a lot more sense.
If you want to get here's an experiment for you that kind of opened my eyes a few weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
I saw a post. It was directed to women.
Mm-hmm.
Is what would you do if there were no men on the earth for 24 hours? And the answers were things like, I'd go hiking at night.
See,
I'd feel safe on the...
That's the kind of stuff I wish that I could understand.
So
I can't. It's the same as racism. I can't.
Right.
I can't.
It's hard.
There's no way. There's zero way for me to experience it.
So the experiment for
I can't
you...
afford a fat suit like Oprah and Beyonce or whomever. Who did that? Was that...
Oprah did...
No, Oprah's just fat. She doesn't need a suit.
Who did that?
It was the model, the one that does the...
Oh, Tyra?
Yeah.
If you want to...
But I can't do blackface. I get in trouble for that.
There's a movie made in the 70s based on a book called Black Like Me.
Uh-huh.
Of a journalist who does that. He takes melanin, darkens his skin, and puts on makeup, and goes. He's from New York, works for a magazine, and goes to the South, the Alabama, Georgia, right?
Uh-huh.
It's not a long book.
Because he gets lynched halfway
No, I'm
through,
just generally I'm not saying this is a huge novel that would take forever to read. It's a short book that gives you some insight into holy shit.
Mm-hmm.
wow. Because this guy didn't believe it. He didn't believe that the things that happened to him would happen. He wasn't a racist, but he was from New York. He's like, that doesn't really happen up here. You know what I mean? He didn't think it would happen. So read Black Like Me or watch the movie. It's old. But the real experiment that you can do is find a woman in your life and ask them that question.
As you know, I don't have a woman in my
You have a sister. You have a mom. It's really interesting. I don't think men realize it.
No, I agree. They don't, obviously.
If I wanted to go on a jog right now, I could go on a jog right now.
Yeah,
right?
but that's out of the question.
It's out of the question right now.
I mean, come on.
I have to maintain this weight to get my next shot. Yeah. But a lot of women wouldn't feel safe doing that.
No, I know. I mean, I've heard all those stories before. I know. I just and I believe them, of course.
Right.
But I just wish that I could understand or could experience it, I guess, to have more empathy than I already have, I guess.
Right. You got a lot.
But
that's all.
Yeah, that's it, I guess.
Yeah.
Good episode, everyone.
Thanks for being here.
We'd like to thank John, our producer, in the back there. He's behind the glass. 6-inch rod.
He's been taking calls for us during the show.
And it's an antenna, though, not like a...
yeah.
I mean...
This show's produced by Scary Parrot Media. I'd like to thank the entire staff here.
Yeah. Richard, Dick Pound, back in the back. My boy, Dick Pound.
Yep.
Looking for the music. There we go. Larry, the cable guy, Richard Simmons,
Jesse Ventura,
Jack Johnson, Jesse Ventura. He's always great. You know, he's back there building the sets and rolling the cameras.
Yeah.
Great staff here at Scary Parrot Media.
Find us at the Arctic Pod on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok for episode 108. I am Brian.
I am Spencer. If you want an internship here, beware.